Not remotely as fun was Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross, the blow-off match between these two. And listen, I've sat here and say I've really enjoyed this storyline. I think what they've done with Kross is great. People were chanting, "We want Kross." They did nothing with him out of that, coming off of that rant promo thing that he did, that work shoot, whatever you want to call it, coming out of Mania. Did nothing with him, aside from the quick cameos backstage for like 5 seconds. They put him on the show in a regular role. They put him in a feud with Sami Zayn, which made sense. He did beat him on Raw. I'm not going to sit here and say he's lost all the matches. He hasn't. He did beat him on Raw. This was the rubber match. The matches just have not been anything special. Like, they've just been very basic. Are they fucking bad? No, they're not awful. But, like, if this was supposed to be a test, and I did see a report earlier today that he may have re-signed, so we'll get to that. But if he didn't re-sign, I love Kross. I feel like there is a role for him on the show. People like him. He's organically got himself over. People like Kross. But he also has to be able to deliver a, like, strong match. And this has been a recurring problem with him dating back to NXT. And we were in that minority, even when they brought him back 3 years ago, that we were like, excited to see what they do with him. He was never really given a fair shot. And they've given him opportunities. And other chances they haven't. But like, this was an opportunity. Kind of dropped the ball here. So I'm curious what your take was on this match and how Kross has been kind of handled, or him, what's been going on with Karrion Kross this summer.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this match, just kind of skimming through the matches and just I honestly thought probably was my least favorite match of the weekend.
Wow.
And the steel cage match wasn't great either, but at least there was some care there. But thought this was, 8 minutes, felt like a Raw match. They kind of went back to the steel pipe thing, and then he didn't use it, and then she tried to, it just fell flat. Even with Sami, I feel like the crowd just sat on their hands too, which obviously didn't help, but thought it was just your run-of-the-mill match, and Sami won, and then we moved on. It just, like you said, I feel like Kross, like they got his opportunity. I'm not saying he squandered it, but I feel like it has been great. And I don't know if they need to like tweak his presentation. He's still kind of doing the same kind of thing that he's always been doing, like the whole like him and Scarlett.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's kind of like the Sable Mark Mero a little bit. Like it's kind of more like look at her. He's kind of in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the entrance is the same, the whole shtick's the same kind of. I don't know. I think he's, like I said, we've been on the train. I just feel like it hasn't worked. I mean, they've been giving him more time, but it just really hasn't really got past what we've gotten so far.
Yeah, I must be mistaken, because like Daniel said, I thought we heard "We Want Kross" chants, but Triple H corrected me. Actually, it was "We Want Brock." That's what they were saying. We want Brock. So maybe he's not as over as I thought he was. But in all seriousness, though, it's just an interesting situation, because supposedly, and I believe this to be true, his contract is up this weekend. First of all, do you think he has re-signed? And do you think he should be re-signed? I think there is still a role for him on the show. I just think it's any opportunity or any aspirations of him being like a main event guy are probably over. Because if you can't go in there with, let me check my notes, Sami fucking Zayn, one of the best wrestlers on the roster, and can't have like a 3-star match, that might be a problem.
Yeah, like you said, if that was like a litmus test, I would see the leaning no, but who knows? But like you said, I feel like after that, I'm like, do I want to see more? Like,
I don't know.
Like, it's like you're wrestling against Sami Zayn, you can't get a good match out of him. It just, like I said, I don't know if there was a whole stipulation and they did the stupid pipe thing. I don't know. I just didn't work for me, and like you said, I'd be surprised to see if he re-signed.
Yeah, like Daniel said, it's because I'm getting that from Meltzer. Meltzer said on his show.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The most credible source in all of wrestling, of course. He's like, yeah, the last I heard, he wasn't offered a deal, but that doesn't mean that he hasn't been. Brother, I would be surprised. I saw Paul Heyman talking about Kross on the Ariel Helwani show, and he's like, we have something great with him. Like, he's organically getting over. I would be shocked if they played him up that much, or Heyman did. On the show, he wasn't even dressed on Raw. I think, honestly, I've said this for the last week or two, I think he's gone. But what I think there's a great opportunity to do here, and I saw Bully Ray discuss this on Busted Open, and I actually agree with him for once. I think you could lead people to believe, aside from that Meltzer report, you could lead people to believe that he hasn't been re-signed, and then he shows up either in TNA or on Raw next week. And I don't know if he does like a pipe bomb type thing, but I feel like you could build off of that, and that could get him over even more, and people would really be excited to see what they do with him. What he does in the big money matches, I'm not really sure. But I feel like there's an opportunity here to get people talking and be like, oh, Karrion Kross isn't under a contract, but he's actually invading Raw. Like, I feel like some people would buy that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that he's got some buzz, so doing something like that could kind of, like you said, like make it seem more outsider. But we'll see what happens.